Rick with Team Covenant, and I'm here with John Wick and Gillian Fraser and their game, Wicked Fantasy.
Yeah, and Wicked Fantasy is a re-envisioning of the classic, boring, stereotypical races, fantasy races of humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, and halflings. And we also threw in 5 non-stereotypical races.
We have orcs, we have gnolls, we have ratmen, kobolds, and goblins.
And so what we did is we took all of these things, we took the standard races that are really just kind of vanilla, and we just poured Tabasco sauce over all of them and really spiced them up. Mm-hmm. And then for the non-traditional races, what we did is we made them real races. They're not monsters. They have culture. They have, they have languages. They have traditions. Some of them even have, have religions. And so what we did is we made them the kind of race that you would want to play, just like you'd want to play elves or dwarves or anything else.
And what were the 5 non-traditional again?
They were orcs, they were goblins, gnolls, ratmen, and kobolds. But there's no kobolds in the world, by the way. Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows about the kobolds.
All right, tell me a little bit about the gnolls. They're not a race you hear about often.
Well, what I told Jill when we first made the gnolls was I said, I want... Yeah. Oh, there they are. I want... Because whenever you run into gnolls, typically, what you hear is, oh, it's a pack of gnolls. We'll be able to just dispatch them in no time.
Slog through them. Yeah.
I told Jill, I said, I want for the players to hear the game master say, it's a pack of gnolls, and the players to completely panic and run in the other direction. So, how do we do that?
All right, so basically what we did is we realized every gnoll is really a pack of gnolls. So the way that it works is you start as a gnoll. You're one gnoll by yourself, and you get a whole bunch of feats that are called pack feats. And then you go to the list of pack feats, and you can get more gnolls into your pack that give you bonuses. And then you can get special gnolls. Like there's the Catch, he's the beta of the pack, and what he does is he gives commands to everybody in the pack. And there's a huge list of commands in here, actually. If I can slink along to it.
There they are.
Right here. So he gets these commands, and he looks at you and he says, I need you to move there, and he gives you bonuses to do it if you do it. And the higher in level he gets, he can start giving complicated maneuvers. So you can say to you 3 do this, you 2 do this, and everybody gets super bonuses for doing what he says.
Fantastic.
And gnolls get pack work. If they have a teamwork feat, they treat every member of their pack like they've got it too. And packs end up somewhere between 15 and 30 gnolls. And when you have a gnoll adjacent to you and you're part of the pack, that's a +1 to attacking damage. And they cook.
Gnolls can cook anything. We had a gnoll in one of our parties. We came across some troll spore. And the gnoll went, I can make something out of that. And everyone's like, oh, I don't know. And that's one of the things that gnolls can do, is they can cook anything and make it nourishing and, tasty.
Also, gnolls worship the moons, because there are 7 moons. And they're all born under one, and they worship that moon, and they get special bonuses for it. Because they believe the sun is evil, and the moons are protecting us. The sun is trying to kill everyone, and the moons chase it out of the sky every day. So we do have, culture for the gnolls as well.
Yeah, and they also love mud.
Mud is great.
They love mud. And at the beginning...
Who doesn't, really?
Yeah, rolling around in mud. At the beginning of the chapter, we have a quote from the humans of the world saying, gnolls are dirty, filthy, nasty, disease-ridden creatures.
They'll eat anything.
They'll eat anything. Exactly. We took all of those cliches about gnolls and we turned them into culture.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The reason that gnolls bury themselves in mud is because it cools them down. It gets rid of fleas. It does all these things. So gnolls love mud. And gnolls eat anything because they can cook anything. And so we took all of those different cliches and we made them culture.
And you did this for the known races as well. Our camera guy here, he is a dwarf fanatic.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us about what you did with the dwarves here?
Well, first of all, never call them dwarves.
Oh, yes.
They're Uvendir.
Uvendir. So the Uvendir are a race, or one of the under races. 3 races showed up in the Reign of Men, because in Wicked Fantasy, men are the oldest race. And 3 races showed up, and they were the Uvendir, the Halflings, or the Halfens, and the Gnomes. And there's a hint that they were running from something.
Dun, 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 dun.
But for the Uvendir, The big kicker about the Uvendir is that there's only so many of them, and they can't reproduce. So there's a limited number of Uvendir in the world, and that means every time one dies, they move one step closer to extinction. And so that, I say that to most, I say that to the elf player, and he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I say that to the, the gnome player, and he's like, that's kind of cool. You tell that to a dwarf player, and he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, the other thing we did with Uvendir is we gave them obsessions.
And the way obsessions work is like this. They get obsessed about something like battle or songs and stories or their friends. And every day they indulge that obsession. And if they do that, then they get a certain ability. A few times a day, they can pick up a number of D20 equal to their obsession and roll it when doing something with that obsession. They may pick whatever die they rolled and use that. But the kicker is, if they don't indulge their obsessions, they get melancholy. And if a dwarf or Uvendir gets enough melancholy, they turn into a statue.
Of course they do.
So there's a trick. There's a trick that Uvendir can do to put off melancholy.
They can stave it off.
Yes, they drink beer. So what we did is we made all of the Uvendir Ernest Hemingway. He has to write, he has to write, he has to write. He gets writer block, he starts to drink, he starts to drink, he's got to drink. So that's what we did. I was like, I always pictured Ernest Hemingway as a dwarf, right?
Oh, I can see it.
And he's, he's got a lust for life, he's got that great big handsome beard, and all that. So I really wanted to make, and it was funny because when Jill read the description of them, she said, these guys are real macho.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Oh, I had such a fun time designing these. I am not very macho. I'm exceptionally feminine. I admit it. And I was like, how do I do beer magic?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did you say beer magic?
Beer magic.
Oh, God, tell me that's a thing.
It is a thing.
Show me beer magic.
No, well, beer magic is the thing.
The magic that keeps you from turning to stone.
Oh, that's...
Beer is magic to them.
Oh.
Yeah, beer is magical. Because, it is.
Indeed it is.
So that's what we did with the Uvendir. Oh, and one other thing, we really took the word stubborn and we made it a mechanic. So stubbornness in Uvendir, because part of the fluff of dwarves is that they're stubborn.
Oh my, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we took that fluff and made it a mechanic. And so one of the abilities that the Uvendir have is, he says, I am going to walk 300 miles that direction.
To this point.
To this point. And he starts walking. And nothing in the world can stop him until he gets there.
He can take more damage than his hit points, and he will keep walking. He will die when he gets to where he's going, but he will not stop. There's nothing that will stop him.
He's going to get there.
Yes, because he will
He's a dwarf.
Tunnel through it, go over it, swim through it. It doesn't matter. He will get there.
It may take him 20 years, but he'll get there. So yeah, that's one of the elements, is that when we stumbled on the word stubborn, we went, how can we make the Uvendir stubborn, the most stubborn in the world? Oh, we should talk about magic.
Oh, the Uvendirs are the best wizards in the world. And you know why? Because they don't sleep. They don't have to. They work all the time. So who's really going to be a better wizard? This human who has to go and sleep for 8 hours a day? Or the Uvendir who's in the library when you left and when you got there this morning?
Yeah.
He's still going.
He's still going. He's there all week. And he hasn't slept, he hasn't eaten.
Well, he's got the obsession, right?
He's got the obsession.
He can't not do magic.
Exactly.
So the Uvendir are the best wizards in the world, although humans are like, they're kind of the best wizards.
They're the best craftsmen in the world. Nothing is better than an Uvendir made.
Yeah, nothing is better than an Uvendir sword, nothing is better than Uvendir armor, because that's who they are. That's who and that's why we were like, we need to take, because I have a guy in my group who is who's a dwarf fan, and I went, how am I going to make him happy with these guys?
And like you were saying, it is everything you know about dwarves. We didn't take that away.
Nothing, no crazy new stuff.
I mean, there's a little bit of culture that's new and it's fun and special, but it's still a dwarf, and it's a dwarf you recognize. It's just better.
Yep. And so we did that with 10 races, and once again, there are humans, elves, gnomes, halflings, and the Uvendir. And we did it with 5 non-human races, the
orcs, gnolls, kobolds, goblins, and Rodan, or
Which-
ratmen.
The Ratmen are all the Godfather. They're all good fellas.
So there you have it. John Wick and Gillian Fraser, they have taken the races that you love and just made them better.